but she has a flat tire.
But she what?
Has a flat tire, unfortunately.
Oh
So,
God.
Oh, I, I hope that's an easy fix.
yeah, I hope so too. Yeah,
Well,
but
she triple A.
yeah, yeah.
I had a great flat tire experience. I was driving home. The tire was getting flat. I stopped in the local garage after a few minutes after it had closed. The guy was closing up the bay. I said, can I leave this till tomorrow? And he said, I'll take a look at it. And he had it fixed in 3 minutes. The screw
What?
was sticking out and he put the plug in and it was done. I was astonished.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, I discovered that my new Hyundai does not have a spare tire. It's
Ooh.
you've got a kit that you're supposed to be able to reinflate your tire, but I don't know how to do
Oh,
that.
nothing at all, huh? Yeah,
Not
not even. I have one of those cheater spares, those
not
little
even
tiny things.
there.
Hmm. So, questions, reports, um, any anything from your practice this week?
Well, my practice toward the end of the week was sadly lacking because, as I was saying to David earlier, I had early commitments all week and
Hmm.
just didn't have time to do anything.
Gets in the way. Anything for you,
Yeah,
Bill?
yeah. Well, I continue. I, yeah, I think all the things we talk about, I try to incorporate that as we move through it, and the biggest thing continues to be not letting one part get ahead of the other parts. Have the flowing, breathing, and mechanical motion and the energetic thing. And but I think though that one thing that is uh, making a difference is thinking about the etheric body below and above with lengthening and in and out
Uh-huh.
is helps sort of regulate that.
Yep.
So,
And one of the things too is getting to the stage where you let go of trying to remember whether you're doing all the parts or even specific parts, and
yeah,
simply
yeah,
allowing yourself to flow and to do what you can do, and to recognize that um, it really helps to think about doing another part of practice. Remembering, I know I've talked about this a lot, that there is flowing and then there is really focusing on specifics or specific postures that you're dealing with. Um, and sometimes just doing a little bit of repetition on some of those uh, can
mm,
help them integrate into the flow.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
morning.
That is good. One time I did or this week I did a real short flow, thinking about some of those things. Just I think four, and then did the full flow after that, and
Uh huh. Good.
you know,
So Joanna's with us.
I snuck in.
She snuck.
Sorry, I was running late and then I got behind a school bus.
Of course,
Of course.
we said that on
Yep,
here.
they're okay. Yep, and stopped like every third house.
Oh, whoopee.
Of course.
So bear with me a moment. I'm gonna shift to the other camera in another position since we have Joanne here.
Ah,
Yeah.
now we see.
And you don't need to move very far back.
Well, I want to move back.
Okay. What? I'm gonna put my shoes on my feet. Actually. Oh, kitty came to see.
Oh, yeah, they always do. They want to know what's going on.
Of course they do.
The kitty.
There you go. Came to see you.
I'll be right back. I just want need to.
Well, taking a quick break here.
Yeah, and Bill had to go assist his wife who had cataract surgery yesterday and went back
When you go, because I think the boy started here.
she could drive and had a flat tire.
Oh,
So he's gone off for
all right.
a little
Fix the
bit
tire. Okay.
to help her.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because you're not supposed to lean over at that point. You can drive, but you can't
Yeah.
can't lean down to fix the tire.
So, any particular questions or reports on your practice this week? Joey?
No, I practiced a little. I was up in Maine for 4 days, so
Yeah.
only one day did I do that, and that was actually for the other class.
You do what you can do.
You do what you can do. It's beautiful to do that, but no, just no. I mean, I've read and reread. You know, I find that helpful to just
Yeah.
move it into myself as well as physically practicing.
And those of us who are find visual connection.
Yeah, there's multiple ways of learning.
Yeah.
Multiple ways help me.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
one.
And I need that visual also.
Uh huh.
so-
Yeah, it's very important for me.
Yeah. Is Bill back?
I've been listening. I've been listening to a series of podcasts called Ologies, and one was on neurology, and it was talking about learning, and
Uh-huh.
that people have different kinds of learning. Apparently, has really been debunked. What is true is the more different senses you can involve in learning, the better you learn.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So that, writing and listening and doing.
Yep.
Right. But yeah, I take notes at a meeting and I may never look at them again.
Right.
But I'm better at remembering important things from the meeting
Mhm.
if I wrote them down rather than just I can't. People who walk into meetings with no pen and paper or no computer to type just kind of yeah, amaze me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Carol, if you'd share a link to that, I'd be interested.
Um, I get it through just like podcasts on my phone. It's called Ologies.
Yeah.
Ologies.
Oh, okay. That's
And
sufficient.
got lots of different ones.
Topics, yeah.
I just listened to one on math, which was fascinating. I want to read the book by the author, by the person. But anyway.
Okay. So,
David,
mm,
I can't hear you very well.
you can't hear me.
You sound like, you sound like you're at the other end of the boxcar or something.
Maybe I am.
I have no
We hear you well in front of the computer.
yeah.
don't you usually hear me all right across the room?
I'm not,
Yes.
Carol's usually in the room.
Is that better now?
At
Well,
what point do you lose it?
Hmm?
At what point do you not hear him well? As
Billy's
he's
not talking.
talk-
What? Yes? How is it here?
A little better.
Yeah, it's definitely fainter further from the mic,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I haven't really noticed it in past meetings so as much as today.
And I can't possibly tell you why,
Yeah,
unfortunately. Well, I will make a point of speaking up.
Okay. Thank you.
yeah,
Yep. Oh no, I'm glad you said something. Better than not.
better than not knowing and hearing. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to take us into looking at opening and closing, um, which obviously is to some degree connected to lengthening, but not at all the same thing. Um, but connected. And another one of the 16 Gong. So there's no short and quick way to show all the openings and closings within the joints and cavities of the body. There's simply too many of them. So even though the principles behind opening and closing are not terribly complex, all the different ways of opening and closing all follow the same principles. They can be done differently depending on the specifics of how the structure of the joints can have differences. But most of your joints are ball joints, ball and socket, but not all of them. And with the ones that are not, the same principles apply, but how they are done is different. So within this training, I will show you how to incorporate opening and closing in God's plane in the clouds. Now, when you outwardly lengthen a joint or cavity, you open your joint to 70% or plus or minus 10%. What determines whether you open all 70% or you open at some other figure depends upon whether your body is in really, really great shape or not. When you know how to do it, when all the tissues of your body are responding, fairly automatically, doing opening and closing, then you could jump up to as high as 80%. It's not a great idea to go to 90. So you want to simply go as far as you can to maintain the circulation of qi until your body is prepared for high performance activity. Likewise, you can close a joint 70% with the same results. But what if you are using Qigong to heal what's injured inside you or a sickness? Then you're not going to try and go to 70%. You're only going to go to 50% or less sometimes so that you can start building up the joints or whatever else inside your body is ill in order to become normal. So that what's injured will be able to do what it can really do, so that and that is why you want to remain open to doing just what's appropriate for you at that moment. So I'm going to walk over close to the camera
Yeah.
to do this.
Okay.
Because what I want to do here is I'm going to just open my wrist and fingers and close my wrist and fingers. And I'm just opening and closing. And there's no physical movement. Unlike lengthening, where we pretty much usually have some physical movement related to lengthening out and lengthening in. But that of course is not being done by stretching muscles. So I was doing it just as far as the joint could open, and that is as far as I should go. So this is happening inside of your joints. It has nothing to do with your hands and fingers and muscles or the external shape. It has nothing to do with the way your skin is moving. In opening and closing, it is more critical to be able to do the closing. If you can close, usually then you can open. But even if you can open, which is natural, you may not have the internal strength to close well. So there is a phrase in the Tai Chi classics, which might be confusing. It says, first you open, then you close. And this is talking about physically, opening in general, just getting all the contractions out of the body. So the body can somewhat lengthen. And then it starts working on how to close the internal elements so it can control those movements. It doesn't say you close first, then open. It says you open first and then you close. But the context is you are always opening and closing. It's talking about a much larger meta view. Or you can embody the concept of openings and closings. Once you can, then it is easier to have one joint or cavity or energy gate guide the openings and closings for your entire body. It's a bit like you choose the leader of the band. From classic Qigong, the places that are usually used in the beginning to be the leader of the band, to be the central point that everything else is following, and they are following just by 1/1000th of a second, are the spine, the lower dantian, and the qua. But it doesn't say it has to be. If for some reason you are always having difficulties with your elbows, then what you can do is simply make the opening and closings of your elbows be the point that actually leads every other opening and closing in your body, until you don't have a problem with your elbow anymore, and your elbow has fully integrated with the rest of your body. But normally, it is the lower dantian and or the spine or the qua. Now, where this becomes a little difficult is that in God's plane in the clouds, it and starts moving into meditation, then the central point would either be your lower dantian, your middle dantian, or your upper dantian, depending upon exactly which set of meditation principles you are following. So, when you go to movement 2, it's pretty clear, I would think. Maybe not. That you're closing and then you're opening. And you're closing. And you're opening. So it's a fairly simple coordination in that particular posture. If you want to know if your wrist is really linked with the rest of your body, then do the movement with the wrist being the leader. And if you can see that the wrist is causing everything else to move with it, then you have a reasonable assumption that your wrist is connected to the rest of the joints in your body. So you can do it with your dantian, or you can do it with your spine, or you can do it with your qua. So you can do this actually, as I said, with any joint or cavity. But the reason why you would do this is simply that there are going to be times when you're wondering if this part of your body is doing what it is supposed to be, or is everything in my body coordinating. If you think some parts of your body is causing a problem, but it's not clear, it's indistinct, then make that part of the body the center, and then you'll find out whether pretty soon whether there is a disassociation or not. So this is how you can self-correct and you can self-know whatever you're doing the movements, whether you're doing the movements well or not. Now we're going to look at opening and closing of the hands, the wrist, the feet, and the ankles. There are two basic chi flows. Well, there are three, as I think most of you know. But let's just go for the two really basic ways, which most Qigong methods use to first get people to move qi through their systems. One way is to feel the head and hands bottom to top and back the other way. Hands, arms, head down to the bottom. So these are the vertical up and down flows. But the second way, which is in many ways more important, is from your lower dantian, going to the top and the bottom and back again, or what's called center to periphery. And the third way is actually everything from both sides of your body converging in the center and both sides separating out at the end. And that's when you start playing around with the left, right, and central channels. So you have these three, but the beginning, the center to periphery one, is very, very valuable. Now, external coordination and internal coordination are different. External coordination is really simple. Two parts of your body or many parts of your body moving in the same direction at the same relative speed and the same relative time. But when you start talking about internally, and you want to get your chi moving to all these parts of your body, that means that all these separate parts have to coordinate. You can have it going very fast from your dantian to your heart level, and really slowly from heart to throat, and speed up again to the top of your head. It all has to happen at the same constant rate, just like in a large electrical power system. Electricity has to flow through all parts of the system equally, and it can't slow down at one point and then speed up afterwards. The term that is used in the modern age with computers is conductivity. You need even, steady conductivity. And we're talking about doing this now inside your body. There is a thing in all the Taoist Qi practices that's called Liu Hu, which means 6 combinations of the body. And I'm not going to go into what they are mentally and emotionally and spiritually. That's the second part of it. But the physical part of it is very simple. Your ankles and your wrists, your hands and your feet coordinate. They are at the two ends of your body, and they must move in coordination. The crown of your head and your perineum must move in coordination. Usually that isn't emphasized as much, but the 6 coordinations also include your knees and your elbows and your shoulders and your hips or quad. Now, if you take a relatively small person, grab them by the waist and turn them upside down and say, move your hands and your feet, it becomes very obvious how the hands and the feet are at just opposite ends of the center of your body. So we need to get that chi to do these 6 combinations. We will start off with the hands and the feet. So, number 1, if we look at your hands, how with your intent can you try to get your chi to move? Now, previously we've covered how to get your mind inside your body and your intent to move through your body. The Laogong point on the hand and the Yong Chuan point on the, or bubbling well point on the middle of your foot are the 2 basic places where the energy of the human body most naturally goes and where it is most naturally open, where it most naturally opens and closes. If you want to have chi, power circulate throughout your lower body, you do it from the bubbling well point. But if you want to have it circulate throughout the upper part of your body, you do it through Lao Gong. So we also have to get your ankles and your wrists to move together. But internally, you have to feel the Lao Gong point in the palm, and the energy goes from your wrists to your Lao Gong point and then spreads out to the tips of your fingers. In your legs, it goes first from your legs to the bubbling well point, and then it spreads out to the tips of your toes. So the wrists are fairly simple, as long as you have a little bit of opening in your wrist so it's not collapsing. Then you're going to open 70% as far as it can go from there. And then you can go 70% close, back to the origination point. Hands and wrists actually are fairly easy. They become the bones in the palm of the hands and the fingers are going to open 70%, and they're going to come back to 30% before they would close down. What gets a little bit trickier is the feet. The central channel of energy in your body directly passes along the center line of your foot, putting pressure on the bubbling well point, which brings energy up your body, is along that central channel. When you shift your weight back to the point in the back of your heel, Shimian, that brings energy down your body. It is still also the same central channel. So whenever you're doing anything with your feet, one of the things that's important is that your foot must not collapse inward or outward, because if it collapses inward, what it's going to do is force the energy into your left or right channels, not to the central channel, which is what you really want it to do right now. There are very specific things that you can do with opening and closing the hand that can change the internal pressure in your foot to make energy go up or down the left and right channels of the body. That becomes very important when you're sitting in meditation. Just by a slight tweak in your foot, you can actually define whether you want to work on blockages in the left and right sides of your body, or you want to work on your central channel. Do not allow your arches to collapse to the floor, and do not allow the weight of your foot to shift to either the outer or the inner edges. If it's equal, then the pressure along the center line of your foot is equal. What you want to do with the arch is just the same as what you have done with the Lao Gong point. It can come in and go out to pull energy into the hand or project energy out of it. So also you can move your arch slightly and have the exact same effect. The arch can very subtly draw energy in and project energy out. The trick is to have the hand and the foot doing it concurrently at the same time and speed. You want the pressure on the inside and outside of your foot to remain equal, pressing equally on the floor. And then you want to lift slightly from the center of your arch so that you naturally pull energy from the earth. And by having the arch spread slightly, it will push energy into the earth. Just as when you close your palm, you suck energy into it, and if you open your palm, you push energy out of it. But the central issue is just that no matter what you are doing, you're trying to get your hands and your feet together. And they're both doing the same thing at the same time. Now, another thing which you could do as a separate exercise, but normally the presupposition is that you would have done this with standing Qigong before you had even arrived at doing God's playing in the clouds. So one of the elements in this is that we've talked about bend the bow, shoot the arrow, and the seeker, and the tucking of the pelvis actually is a very important part of moving the energy down into the foot and up out of the foot. So remember, that movement is coming from the center of the spine. It's not just tucking the pelvis. You're not thrusting the pelvis forward. You're really bending from the middle of the spine. And that's another important part of that movement. Initially, you can just do that if you have not yet really incorporated bend the bow into your practice. If you have, then doing bend the bow is indeed what you should be doing when we're thinking about opening and closing. Now, normally, when you go out the ball of your foot, it brings oh yeah. So when you go out the ball of your foot, it brings energy up, and going back into your foot makes energy go down. So I want you to do the basic dynamic sphere. And I'm assuming you all remember how to do that. So what I would like you to do is stand up and come into your basic structure. And you want to first sink down a bit, going into your feet and ankles, and then coming up out of your feet and ankles, and back down into them, and up, and back into them. So feel the feet and ankles opening and closing, opening, closing, Remember to bend the bow as you do that. Your spine is bent and straightens, bends and straightens as you go through that. Keep going a little bit. Now focus on your finger joints for a moment. And feel those open and close. And then open and close Lao Gong. And then feel your toes opening and closing. And be aware of the bubbling well opening and closing. Then do them all together. Lao Gong, your fingers, the bubbling well point in your toes. Try to have a very steady feeling of qi going into your feet and going out of your feet. Into your feet as you close and out of your feet as you open. This practice can eventually link to everything in your body. But you're going to use your two extremities to do it. They will be the metronome. The rest of your body will follow. So you can pause and relax. So thinking about that in movement too. Same thing we were talking about, that the pressure is going into the feet and coming out, and going into the hands, wrist and hands, and out. One of the things to remember is that opening and closing is a spherical movement, unlike lengthening, which is principally a horizontal extension. Okay? So the point is, so as the pelvis is tucked and your tailbone is in, your feet, and you just let the pelvis go forward and back. You must do this in God's because the same principle is opening here as it is in our other Negon. Now the next thing is that as your arms rise, you open all the bones in your wrist, hands, ankles, and feet at the same time. When your arms go down, you close everything in your wrist, hands, ankles, and feet at the same time. So, I'd like you to stand up and do movement 2 and see if you could do that. Connect all of that together and feel the hands and wrists and ankles and feet moving together. The trick is the coordination of having the top and bottom doing the same thing at the same time. Another things I might mention is that doing the dynamic spear, particularly in a bow stance and moving forward and back, can help you to really feel circularity, not only circularity, but sphericalness in a movement. So as your hands are rising, you go into Shimian, and then back into the bubbling well as the arms are sinking. Make sure the arch of the foot is raised slightly so that your foot is not collapsing to the inside or the outside. Open your hands and your feet. Close your hands and feet. Your hands and your feet should directly start to cause this to happen to every other part of your body. The hands and the feet are the leader. And you want everything else to follow. Your hands are going up your body from your spine. Energy is wrapping towards the front. And you're lifting up with the back of your spine. And as you come down, you're going down the front of your spine and wrapping from front to back. From back to front, excuse me. And try to get your breath very, very even and make sure that you are breathing with belly, sides, upper back and lungs and kidneys. And if you can, especially focus on the upper lungs. You should find your mind getting much clearer, or at least it should start clearing the cobwebs out of your mind. Allowing the hands and the feet to become very stable. You get each of the 6 combinations stable. It will not be difficult to combine all of them. If you get them kind of half and half, later on it will cause you great problems. Next time you come to the bottom, pause and relax. So how was that?
At some level, it's kind of like, there's just so much there. It's
There
like,
is.
speaking of how we learn, but yet I didn't feel overwhelmed. I think when you were reading, I felt overwhelmed. But I think once I began to practice, I felt like, oh yeah, you know how to do this.
Yeah.
You just kind of, yeah, there's maybe new insights, new, ways to think about it.
Yep. Bill or Carol?
Our minds are too blind.
I think, yeah, the one thing that you mentioned, doing the sphere that we've all been doing for a long, long time. and getting the spine, the bow into the sphere intentionally. I think it was sort of there, but then thinking about it made an energetic difference for me.
Good.
And the bubbling well on the logong and doing all that together, which I think we've sort of done, but maybe not verbalized certain to the extent that today.
Yep.
Um, it's terrific, I think. So,
This can also help you really begin to move energy through the legs, which is always kind of the last area that we really include. I mean, we do it so easily with the arms and some parts of the torso, but the legs often lag behind. Anything for either Carol or Bill?
Well, basically what Joanne said, overwhelmed listening to the
There we go.
explanation. But I have been trying to work on keeping all parts of my body together, coordinated and uh, moving. So this didn't feel altogether strange, except when I tried to focus on this. Um, and I kept wanting to just go back and what I did for the most part was try to concentrate on the lower dantian as the engine for the whole thing. Um,
See, that's not what we want to do at the moment.
okay.
Glad you asked.
So we're focusing on coordinating the wrist, hands, ankles, and feet and allowing them to lead.
Okay.
So we're working, at the moment, we are working on developing the coordination of the 6 combinations in the body, and then we can go to the spine, dantian, or qua.
Okay.
So that's a little shift in in your focus there. Anything for you, Carol?
I liked focusing on the feet because, as you say, that's not. It's much harder to pay attention there.
Yeah. Really just focusing your practice sometimes on the feet for a while, really, not even, I mean, knowing that the hands and wrists are involved, but really feeling the energy moving in the feet. And recognizing that your feet have to be able to make a lot of movement. The arch has to move, the weight is shifting, and you don't want them to be tense. If you tense up your feet and ankles, then the energy doesn't move very effectively through them. So it's not easy, and certainly to some extent counterintuitive to our Western mind. So yes, and we'll do some more work with opening and closing for a little while. We're not going to just do this one and fly on, because this is a particularly important concept. And I think, as I've mentioned, there are a number of other programs where we do more complete training of opening and closing, and it actually takes usually at least a year before you really fully begin to feel it and comprehend it. So it's not it's not the easiest one of the 16 Negong or energetic concepts to really feel and incorporate. So it takes some practice and distinguishing it from the other things that you're doing, but also coordinating it with them.
I felt like I had a grasp on that, but then I lost the C curve and was putting far too much into my knees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, whoa, yeah,
No.
which I don't do normally
Yeah.
in doing this practice. So I think it was just,
No.
I mean, I'm glad I became aware of it pretty quickly, but still,
Not
yeah.
not good for your knees.
no, not good. So, I'll go
Good.
back to the C curve.
That's a good awareness.
But it was, yeah, it's like, well, something's wrong here.
Mm. Great. Well, anything else at the moment? We'll try to find some time to practice.
I think this was going to need it.
It takes some time. Thank you. Have a good week.
Yes, you too, everyone.
I assume you handled the flat tire in.
I just heard from her. AAA will be there in 20 minutes.
Good old AAA.
Good old AAA, yep.
Thank you, Carol.
John doing all right, Carol?
I just ducked out to wake him up because so I don't know. I can hear him moving around, so at least he's
Well, that's good.
Well, you know he's up. Or getting up.
sort of up.
Sounds like me first thing in the morning.
Oh,
Yep.
So, the form.
the form. I mean, I have done little. I have done a little, but little. I think as we talked last week, I mean, just trying to, be aware of the roundedness, be aware of all of the, particularly grasping sparrow's tail, single whip, cloud hands. I think that's kind of where I've been, right? Not having enough time to.
Yeah.
I really feel like I could do a whole flow. But kind of trying to squeeze that in with heaven and earth and gods.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do, yeah, right. And 4 days in Maine, 12-hour day work days. So, yeah, right. Anyway, so, yeah.
Doesn't
I
look-
don't have any questions. I think it's just, but yeah, trying to get time for that.
So you feel like you're clear about the openings and closings of those postures since we talked about
Speaking
that.
of,
Since
Carol, you look like I feel. I kind of feel like I was yawning too. It's like, don't close your eyes to it. Doesn't help that it's raining. It's good that it's raining, but it makes me a little more tired. I'm trying to wake
Yeah.
up more.
yeah.
Good question. Certainly been thinking of that with grasping sparrow's tail. I can't speak of my awareness beyond that. Beyond that, I guess it's like like separating and
Sure.
it's like I'm thinking about one aspect of it and where are we on the opening and closing. So yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going to jump to
Go.
the end of grasping the sparrow's
Okay.
tail. So we're closing and opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing and opening, closing and opening, opening, closing, closing, opening. Any questions in there?
No, I think though after the practice we just did,
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more aware of that in my top half than my with my legs and feet. I really need
Yeah.
to be more aware of that connection.
Yep.
In yeah.
Yeah. Since we had, probably should have stopped there.
Yeah, keep going because this is all being taped, right? Yeah, we're recording. This will help.
So closing and
Mhm.
opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening.
You just jumped into the short form.
Oh, I didn't I?
Yes, and just so Joanne's not confused, in the short form,
You would probably say, what?
that posture comes next.
Oh,
Boy, that's because
thank you, Carol.
we're working on some of this in another class.
Okay,
and
right,
I just,
yeah, uh-huh.
my apologies. Okay, we'll try we'll try another
Where are we starting now from?
same place.
Okay.
Same place. So closing and I can't jump and opening,
Mhm.
closing and opening, closing. No, I'm
No, you're in the
I'm,
wrong, you're in the wrong place.
I'm
Not sure.
that is weird. Okay.
Did you go to the whole brush knee sequence?
What?
It goes into the brush knee sequence.
Yeah.
From the end of
Yeah. I
grasping, right? Yeah.
I realize that
Yeah.
that's what it does, but I'm saying, what am I doing?
Okay. There we go.
So, brush knee. So, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening.
You still missed another going around to the back, but so right.
Oh,
So
well. Oh well.
right. Okay, but I got what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And then from there we go back. You missed this part, did you, or were you just not moving in the same way?
No, we're in the first paragraph.
Yeah, but there is yeah.
There is a back turn that it was hard to tell from where I was sitting that you had fully done that.
I may not.
That's okay, but I am aware that, and I understand the opening closing there.
Yeah.
I think we can piece it together.
It's
But now I understand. Yeah, well, I think we got all the pieces.
yeah. So, it's really focusing on you're absolutely right, focusing on the feet and starting with just the feet and ankles and not feeling like you have to do everything at once, as I was saying. Because it's hard enough just to get the feet and the hands.
I do feel like that connection though with the bubbling well, the log-on points. I do feel that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, good.
that's my anchor. I
Oh,
think.
good.
So
good.
so I yes I very clearly
That's what you want.
felt that.
Good.
The ankles. Gonna work on that.
You know, the thing is, you can freeze or tighten up the ankles or wrists, and the hands can be, and feet can be doing whatever they're supposed to be doing, but nothing's happening there. So you really have to feel
The ankles and
the ankles and
wrist.
the feet, ankles and wrist.
I think that's where my challenge. Check the challenge.
Yeah.
I think that is my challenge, and I think also kind of like I've struggled with my knees. You know, my ankles have been what's been, you know, swelling
Yeah.
because of the blood pressure medication. So, but then it was very helpful, Carol, when you were saying that you know the exercises you do with your feet and ankles. So I did do a little of that this week just to and I think that just not only feels like it's putting blood back in there the way it
Oh, that's
should, so
good.
that was good. But just also more aware. You know,
Yeah.
in so many parts of our body, it's so easy to just kind of
Yeah.
disconnect.
What hurts?
What's that?
Focus on what hurts.
Well, that yeah. Or try to
Yes.
disconnect to it, whatever.
Yes, that too.
That too. One of the above.
Absolutely.
Either or. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things too that I found at one point really helpful was to play with feeling lengthening and then change it or add to it opening and closing and feel the difference in the energy
Yes. Yep.
because it's completely
It
energy.
is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that yeah.
And try to carry that into the feet and ankles too.
Well, right. It's a little
Yeah.
harder when you're standing on them. As opposed to that. I mean,
exactly.
that is the challenge, right?
Yeah, that's
Weight makes a difference. The bubbling well does feel so different because of where it is. Because with the arch, then you're really more.
that's
And because we've been talking about all of this forever. I mean, I still have my early opening, closing handouts. You know, the
Yeah.
lengthening handouts. Right?
that movement of the arch is a really important piece, and being able to do it and not tense up the foot.
Yes. Right. It's not a stand on your toes and
It's
heels.
not a
Right.
clench.
No.
And it doesn't have to take a lot to function.
It's such a good word, though. Sometimes the words don't work. We talked about that recently, even I think. But bubbling well kind of works for me.
Yeah.
In terms of just kind of feeling something. You know, there is And Lagong, we focus so much on that.
Yeah.
We've never let that go.
No.
So,
And it is extremely important.
yes. I mean, they're all important, but that is,
Yeah.
it seems to have never been.
So, you want to flow through the first paragraph anyway and just.
Should we try? How are you doing time-wise, Carol?
Mm,
I have zero idea what time it is. So.
I need to check on what
John.
John's up to.
Well,
So
you go
that doesn't
check
mean
on
you can't
John
do
and
it.
Joanne can flow.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Do what
So
you need to do.
I'll
Yeah,
check with John and catch up with you.
Catch up. I'm sure.
absolutely.
All right, let's see what we can do here. No, this. Oh, I can go over to Carol's spot.
Yeah, you can move that chair.
That's yes. It's a challenge to put it all together. I mean, I was aware of I stopped more than I would like, but that was because I was trying to like recalibrate,
Yeah,
kind
yeah. One thing I would say, and this may be related to your knees, I'm not sure, but a lot of your steps are not empty.
Yeah. Also, I should have taken my shoes off. I usually do it barefoot.
Oh,
That makes it. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's kind of
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
changes.
No, it makes a total difference without the shoes on.
Yeah, it changes the flow.
It does.
How did you feel energetically?
I mean, I think it came and it went, partially because I was stopping.
Yeah,
Partially, I think, because I've only been practicing certain things, so I started for a second to thinking that I was going into wave hands. But I felt like I felt somewhat. I could feel the connections. I was kind of struggling with trying to probably put too much together, and I need to just keep doing that with like, okay, do I have this down? Do I have that?
yeah.
It didn't feel felt the wrist, but not the wrist ankle connection.
Yeah. The one section where I felt some of the movement got lost was after single whip. This was pretty much all right. Then back, and then this had has to be a shift in rotation,
Mm-hmm.
and then a release,
And it has to be an out.
and a shift back
Yes.
to out.
Yeah.
And then in and
Out.
out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed a little.
Yeah. I did feel that.
You didn't get
Yeah.
Karen back, did you?
She did. Yeah, she's back.
Yeah.
She.
Oh.
At one point, I did notice she was flowing.
Oh.
Just-
So how did you do, Carol?
Um, okay, I'm, as you can guess, somewhat distracted.
Yeah,
Um,
understandably.
it's it's always good for me to remember to focus on the feet and legs because that always gets better,
Yeah.
better word. Um, and some of it is okay. What are the feet doing in and out here?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Besides holding the weight.
Right. We know that. Yeah. But good point.
Right. When I can do it by hovering above the ground, then it'll be a different issue. I haven't mastered that one yet.
Yes. Neither have I.
Yeah.
Well,
lots to
lots to work on.
work.
Yeah.
Well, hope the rest of your day goes smoothly, Carol.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of the doctors that John likes a lot, and
Oh, good.
it's 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 usually a good visit.
That's good.
Go put the scooter back in the car.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I'll see you
thank
next
you.
week, hopefully.
See you next week.
Yes,
Yep. Okay. Bye-bye.
and we'll
Take care.
let you know what it's going to be, where I'm going to be.
Who knows? We'll go with the flow, as we say.
Yep.
Well, you can talk about that later.
Yeah, figure it out. Whatever we need.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave the meeting.
All
Okay,
right.
Yep.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I was thinking about her on the way here.
Hmm.
So hard.
I understand you have a friend now here in East County.
Yes! I'm going to visit her. So, Myrna Martinez is the executive director of our community land trust.
Name is familiar.
And her husband, Jesse Good, his mother lives in Chester. His father was Peter Good, an artist.